take another swing at the poll question. It is, how many points do you think Connor Bedard will net as a rookie in the National Hockey League? I'm in the 80-plus point category. Winning with the majority of the vote is 50 to 69 points. And again, our daily poll brought to you by Key Auto Group. Let's bring in Jason Gregor now, Daily Faceoff, and all kinds of cool things going on in Edmonton. Gregs, if you don't mind, we start there. Where would you vote on how many points Bedard is going to get in Chicago in his rookie year?
Well, it's a good question, Roddy. Well, to me, it's does he stay healthy? That's the hardest thing, right? 18 years old, I don't care who you are. It's a tough league, man. There's lots of guys. They miss a few games here or there. You go back to a lot of the top picks. So I'll say, I give Chicago credit. They've actually tried to add some, players around him. I think he'll play with Taylor Hall, who's a pretty good player. So I'll say he scores 80 points.
Hey, okay, we'll put you in that category. 80 plus. I'm in the same one. I'm with you. Okay, he's been very durable. Touch wood, he's never really been hurt in his career at all. Hasn't missed games. But as you say, the NHL is a different league. I can tell you this. There's a lot of people, me included, that are just happy to hear your voice, Jason. You guys been through the ringer up there, TSN 1260. People still talking about it. It's still raw for a lot of people. So what's the update on your broadcast career and all the other guys that were family of the Edmonton sports fans, snatched away from you by Bell here a month or so ago?
Yeah, you know what? Hey, it's been overwhelming, all the positive response, which is really nice. But luckily with today's world, there's lots of opportunities. So it's just a matter of me finding the right one. Little bit of a free agent, as you can say, Rod, and it's nice to be wanted, so that's good. So I've had a few options, and I'm getting close. To be honest, I think I'd say I'm in the home stretch of finalizing where I'm going to land here soon. So that'll be nice. For the first few weeks, I joked. I said, "Man, I think I'm busier now than I was when I was employed." So I need a break from unemployment.
Well, you are one of the busiest guys in the business. But let me ask you this: what you learned? Just take me inside it for a second. I mean, I've been through it, but not in the way that you've been through it. There's a void. There is a void. But they went through it in Winnipeg. They went through it in Hamilton, Vancouver. And I'm not going to ask you or dig at what you're going to do, but what does it do to the Edmonton sports landscape, not having TSN 1260 there anymore?
Well, I think I'll say this to a lot of the, and majority of our audience were guys. Obviously, we had some diehard female listeners too, which was great, but probably the best way I would describe it, Rod, is there's 50,000+ people who got dumped and they don't know the reason why, right? It was a part of their daily life all the time, and it's suddenly gone. So I can understand why people are frustrated. Hey, I was involved in that, obviously on a, I was the medium, not the listener, but it's the same passion, I think, for sports, and I do think it matters. So you have to at least I believe I owe it to radio listeners to look at every possible option there first to see if that makes sense. And then if not, go to the digital world. But that would be my first priority, because I think radio still connects a lot to your live community, and anybody who discounts that isn't paying attention.
Well, what I see from the outside, here's a good example. Brian in Alberta writes in and he says, Gregor, I miss Positive Fridays, and that big band brass jingle made the weekend start off the right way. Boom. Da, 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 da. Unlike Calgary, where I spent a lot of time, not a lot of people are connected to the radio host there. They aren't. They don't know it's rotating. You guys were family. Big difference. It was a very intimate connection between you and the listeners. Would you agree or disagree?
Yeah, I think that's fair. It's been 22 years for me, and a lot of other guys for 10 plus years, and I think that's important. Edmonton's a really good sports market, and nowadays, luckily with the internet is people can, and iHeartRadio and different things like that, they can listen anywhere, right? So as you can attest to your show, you don't have to be, you've done your show in North America in lots of different cities, right? So the technology allows people to connect if they want to connect with one certain team, or if they just want somebody to talk about all sports, which is obviously what I like to do, but we still talk majority of what your local fan base in Edmonton would listen to, which makes sense. And you know what, that to me is always it's an honor to hear somebody suggest that, they kind of felt like they're an everyday part of your life, and that they miss it. And I hope that for my sake and for theirs that we get it back soon.
So you haven't had 4 hours a day to talk about the Oilers offseason. It's been a fairly quiet offseason, if I may, by design, I think, because Ken Holland's got it humming pretty good. So how would you typify the Oilers offseason?
It's kind of what I expected, to be honest, right? Connor Brown, everybody saw that signing or potential signing from a long ways away. There's no risk this season. The risk, of course, is next year when the bonus overages kick in, and that could be a problem. But if they win the Stanley Cup this year, very few people are going to care, right? Edmonton's in win now mode. There's no question about it. They're a legit competitor. I think Edmonton truly feels like, and not discounting Vegas, because Vegas beat them. And the reason Vegas beat them is because Vegas didn't self-destruct like the Oilers did, right? In games 5 and 6, it's a 2-2 series. Each team had blown the other team out in the first 4 games twice. You get to game 5. The Oilers have a lead in the first period in both games. They give up 3 goals in the second period both times. That's the game. You look at the shots, you look at everything else, time of possession. They dominated it in the first and the third, and they saw the sheets. And really, it was a 2-minute stretch of 3 goals against in game 5. And that's the difference. And, the Order of Veterans talked about it a lot, that, and I really believe it, because you could see the pain. They know they really missed their opportunity. And there's no guarantee, Rod. Like, what if you come into the playoffs next year and one of your key guys gets hurt? That's what's hard about pro sports. We learned from this. It's great. Yeah. But that doesn't guarantee you're going to win the next year. It's not that easy, right? Like, there's lots of things that have to come into play. So to me, when I look at the Oilers, their season, October, November, December, have they eliminated the gift goals, the easy goals, the major gaffes, right? Of course, you'll make the odd one, but they were making too many of them. And really, early on last year, that was their Achilles heel. Like, they just gifted goals. They were Santa Claus in October, November, and December. And that reared its head again in games 5 and 6, only in the second period against Vegas. And that's what cost them. Like, they were close. Edmonton's a really close team to winning. Obviously, you got McDavid, you got Draisaitl. That's a huge advantage. But they got lots of other good surrounding pieces. Their power play is the greatest the league's ever seen. I don't see any reason why it's going to slow down. So I didn't expect any big moves. I still think they're going to sign another depth forward here, probably to league minimum to come in and compete with Lane Pedersen for the 4th line center spot. But most of their moves, Rod, they're going to go into the season for the first time in many years, not in LTIR. So they'll have cap space, probably $600,000 to $700,000 to start. And then that will accrue during the season, of course, as long as they don't have any LTIR for any extended period of time. And then you'll have $2.4 million. When you think about it, that's like a $4.8 million player, because everybody knows at the deadline, the team trading him usually retains half the salary.
Well, I'd like to say that it's right around the corner. It's not. But by the time it is, I know you'll be fired up and ready to roll. So, Gregor, always good to see you. We're following it very closely, man. Good luck with how it goes.
Thanks, Roddy. I'll let you know when things are finalized.
Thank you, pal. The great Jason Gregor joining us from the City of Champions.